Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on the baseline. So, it feels like every headline lately is designed to make you feel more and more powerless, right? Bills pile up, paychecks don't stretch, and now the federal government has decided to take a vacation from responsibility, while the rest of us still have to show up for work. Here's the crazy thing, everybody. They're still cashing their own paychecks. You're not imagining the outrage here. It's baked into the system. And a lot of us, we can already sense where this is going. So this is the government shutdown. We're in day 2 of it. And politicians are playing chicken with all of our futures. And the people caught in the middle aren't the wealthy elites or billionaires or millionaires on Capitol Hill. It's going to be you and it's going to be me. It's going to be the families waiting for clarity about jobs, paychecks, and the value of their own retirement. So here's the headline that's circulating, right? The US government is officially shut down Congress because Congress, in fact, couldn't pass that funding bill. So let's cut through the noise and really examine and talk about what this means for you, me, us, right? Because the way the media frames it, you'd think the only thing at risk is whether tourists can snap selfies in front of Yellowstone. But the real stakes, they're much deeper. They're about your Social Security check. They're about your mortgage rate, your 401k. It's even going to go into the price of ordinary things, just like the price of milk at the grocery store. So let's begin with some of the basics, okay? Essential services are going to keep going, right? Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, those checks aren't stopping right now. TSA still scans your bags. Courts are still running. VA hospitals are still open. But what gets shut down are things that feed the economy with data and planning. National parks close. The Small Business Administration freezes lending. And most critically, the jobs report and the inflation report, those are getting delayed. So let's take a breath and pause just for a moment, because that's not just bureaucratic inconvenience. Imagine trying to steer a plane with no instruments in the cockpit. That's what the Federal Reserve faces right now. The next big meeting is October 29th. Now, normally, they would walk in armed with fresh data, right? They're going to walk in with jobs numbers, CPI inflation rates. But thanks to this shutdown, those reports may not even exist. And yet, they'll still be expected to decide interest rates, the rates that determine whether you can buy a house, refinance a loan, or keep your small business afloat. So that's the first punch. Now, the government shutdown isn't about whether a park ranger takes a day off or not. It's about the Fed possibly making trillion-dollar decisions in the dark. And that's frightening, right? Because if we flip this, let me flip this around just for a moment, right? Because what about your Social Security cost of living adjustment, right? That annual lifeline was supposed to be announced October 15th. But without the inflation report, that's delayed too. You still get your adjustment eventually, but you won't know the amount when you need it the most. So it's kind of like your boss saying something like, hey, don't worry, you're going to get your raise. I just won't tell you how much until much later. Try paying your bills on that type of uncertainty. It's insane. And here's what nobody expected, right? While ordinary federal workers are furloughed without pay, 750,000 of them, Congress keeps getting paid. That's Article 1, Section 6 of the Constitution locks it in. Senators, representatives, still pocketing checks, while the janitors in their office buildings wait by the mailbox. That's crazy. Now, if that feels like the Roman Empire decadence, it's because it really is. Bread for the rulers, circus for the rest. It's really sad thing to watch. But historically, you'd think Wall Street would panic at political dysfunction, but no. Stock markets have actually shrugged at the past shutdowns, usually drifting sideways or even ticking slightly upward. So on average, the S&P has gained 0.3% during shutdowns. So no, you can't count on a big crash and dip buying opportunity in this scenario either. But here's the part that really blew my mind. The dollar almost always weakens during shutdowns. And when the dollar weakens, commodities, gold, silver, oil, all of those, they end up strengthening. So think about that. The world sees America unable to fund itself. And the faith in the dollar is really eroding. Meanwhile, gold quietly glitters like the one asset class immune to congressional tantrums. So if cash is trash, shutdowns just make the dumpster fire burn even hotter. So let's come back and we'll talk about the workers now, because we talked about 750,000 federal employees are getting furloughed, sent home without pay. So another set are considered essential, but they have to keep working, but without paychecks until the government reopens. So yes, they eventually get back pay thanks to the Government Employee Fair Treatment Act. But imagine being told, keep working and we'll pay you someday. It's like being forced to loan your labor to the very system that shut itself down. Now, that's not patriotism. That's conscription of the middle class. And if you're thinking, well, maybe this is going to wake them up, we have to go back and reflect on the record, right? Because the average shutdown in the last half century lasted about 8 days. Some dragged out for weeks. And here's the crazy thing, right? Even if they solve this one, it's only a 7-week Band-Aid, meaning we'll be right back here in the exact same place before Thanksgiving, watching the same movie with the same villains, the same characters, the same plot twist. Ordinary people waiting for politicians to stop holding the economy hostage. So pause with me for just a moment and let's take a breath, because if Congress ran your local bar, the bartender would argue with the bouncer over who covers the ice bill. Drinks would stop flowing, customers get restless. But don't worry, the bartender still charges a cover fee at the door. That's basically the level of absurdity we're living under right now. So who's to blame? Well, 38% of the polls show Americans blame Republicans, 27% blame Democrats, and 31% say both are to blame. And another 4%, they're just cynical, right? And blame the whole system. But here's the uncomfortable truth. This isn't just a partisan fight. It is a structural failure. One party wants temporary funding with no changes. The other wants to tack on healthcare subsidies. Both are playing chess while we're all just trying to pay the rent. And the board, it's your economy. And the tragic irony is this fight isn't even about a long-term budget. It's about a 7-week stopgap. And they're burning the house just to patch a hole in the roof with duct tape. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do I have this all right? Do I have it all wrong? I value your guys' opinion. And we'll look forward to catching you in the next round of The Baseline. All right. Thanks for joining me, guys. Cheers.